I'm sorry, but being a working parent in America is a hard thing to do, because you get no type of job security. These jobs do not care. And yes, I know they got to run a business. I know that it's, a business thing, not a personal thing. But it's just the fact of the matter that I feel like parents should have some type of benefit, some type of security for when it comes to their jobs, their children being sick. At the end of the day, we still have to work, but we still have to take care of our children. And 9 times out of 10, most of us parents are putting our kids before our jobs. And I just hate it that when your child gets sick or something happens and you need to take time off of work, you have limited options to choose from. Unless you've been at your job for a year, most jobs you're not getting FMLA. Most jobs you have to earn your PTO, and it occurs very slowly. My job, for instance, requesting off, we only get so many amount of hours to request off. And granted, I have a sick child who has a lots of appointments, who has therapy, who gets sick unexpectedly. And when it comes time for me to request off and you're not approving those days, what else am I left to do besides call out? Once I called out so many times, then you're firing me. It's just so hard for parents to work in America these days. And I honestly hate that for us, because all we're trying to do is be great parents and provide for our families. Like, when is something going to change? When is there going to be something in effect for parents? Like, I just don't understand.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
In the workplace, how are parents handling it when their kid calls that they're sick and they need to get picked up, or they wake up and their child is sick, or they feel like, my kid needs me today, I can't go to work? Like, what happens when you have to be a parent and your job is not flexible? Like, I'm just really curious how you handle that situation. Obviously, your kid is your priority, but you also have to make a living for your family. And it's like, how do you handle that? Because I don't feel like a lot of companies are forgiving. I don't feel a lot of companies treat parents like their parents, that things are going to come up, their children are going to need them. We cannot predict, when parents are going to be needed. I don't have children myself, but I always think about that, like, especially when you have a newborn baby, or like, even as they get older, they're going to need you, things are going to happen. Like, how are people handling that? And what do you do in a situation when your company starts to reprimand you because it's happening too often? You know what I mean? Or does that even happen? I don't know, but I'm curious.
Who watches my kids when I go to work? This is a very commonly asked question on my page, and I feel like I am going to finally make a video about it, because I get this question all the time. So when my girls are with their dad, those are the days I prioritize working. I'll do Instacart and Baskin Robbins. And on Wednesdays, I do have my little sister to watch them on that day, so I can work an extra day out of the week. My sister does get paid. I don't pay her to watch them. My daughter is on the spectrum, so it's a program where you can you can pick someone to watch your children, and like, they'll get paid for it, but they have to be CPR certified. So my sister found this like as a way to make a little extra money, and it's actually very helpful for me. So on Wednesdays, she watches them and gets paid for it. And when I don't have them, when my girls are with their dad, then that's when I work. Thankfully, I don't have to pay for daycare. That's a big plus, because y'all know how expensive daycare is nowadays,
If you've ever wondered what it's like to be a shift worker and a parent, let me just fill you in on my last 24 hours. I will preface this by saying it was a particularly bad 24 hours. It's not usually this bad. I finish work at midnight. By the time I'm in bed at home, 1 a.m. My children thought it would be appropriate to wake up at 4 a.m. this morning. So I've had about 3.5 hours sleep. I then had to get them ready for daycare. By that point, it's 8 a.m. I'm wide awake. I'm not going back to sleep. I'm now back at work to do another 12-hour shift and do it all over again, and just pray that my children decide to sleep in tomorrow till at least 5:30. That's all I'm asking for, 5:30. And hopefully I'll be able to function.
Nobody warns you that when you have kids, your life literally becomes a treadmill of work, children, work, children, work, children. You're up all night 2-3 times, not getting any sleep because they're awake. Then they wake up at 5:30. Getting them ready, getting the household ready, going out to work at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, working all day, or looking after the kids at home all day because they're not well. The second you get back in the door from work, you're making dinner, like the second. Then it's bath time, bedtime routine, and then it's like 8, 9 o'clock in the evening and it's time for you to go to bed. There's not a second of the day when you're free. And it's like that 7 days a week. Who said that was a good idea? You're constantly sleep deprived and constantly doing things for other people. It's wild.
The maternity leave in America should be 18 years. Yep, I think that when you get pregnant, when you have your baby, you should stay home with your child for those first 18 years, because those 18 years are crucial. Like, okay, dad is working all the time. I feel like the mom needs to stay home for those 18 years. Because if not, who's going to watch the child? Like, a mom and a dad working, especially when the dad is working more than 40 hours a week. Okay, the mom is working 40 hours a week, dad is working. Like, how do we really show up for our children if both parents is working in the household? It doesn't make any sense. Like, yes, the mom should stay home for 18 years. Yep.
Okay, she wants the maternity leave in America to be 18 years. What company, any business whatsoever, will pay 18 years? That literally makes no sense. At times, I don't think that people really think things through when they actually speak it. 18 years of maternity leave. Are you kidding me? Come on, bro. Let's be smarter than that.
I work with kids, and I cannot imagine coming back home to a lot of my coworkers have kids, multiple, and they have to deal with other people's kids, then get off of work, do the exact same thing to their own kids. That's a whole new level of crazy. My mind cannot fathom ever being in a career with kids while having kids. I feel like I can only do this because I don't have kids. I would lose it.
Okay, are there any other corporate millennials that were conditioned to think that in order to succeed, they had to be the first one in the office and the last one to leave? Anybody? Because I was just thinking about, I just put my kids to bed and it's almost 9 o'clock my time. That before kids, I would be at the office by 7 or 7:30. I'd leave the office at each role was a little bit different, between 5 and 6. And then 3 to 4 nights a week, I'd log back in to work at home for another hour or two to get ahead for, the day and the week. And I did that for years, over a decade at least, where I would work from home 3 to 4 nights in the evening consistently, and then at least an hour, a couple hours on the weekend. I did that for a decade. And obviously I burned out. If you know my story, I burned out, decided to start my own coaching and consulting business. But even after kids, and this is where I think working parents really struggle, is because the expectation is that they're always on. And so after their kids go to bed, if they have to leave the office at 4 or log out at 4 o'clock to go do kid stuff, there's no evening time to catch up on work. There's none. I was solo tonight. My husband had a work dinner. From the hours of 5 o'clock to 9, I was taken. There was not time for me to check email, do any of that. So parents that have a corporate job don't have, this is why they're burnt out, because the work never ends, and then they're unavailable from 5 to 10 p.m. and then they're working till midnight, and then they're up at 6 a.m. doing the whole thing over again. There is no time to recharge. There is no time for play. There is no time for any of that. And I say this because I know that there are exceptions to this rule. Of course, there are organizations that allow for flexibility. Of course, there are leadership positions that don't require all of this. But the system is broken, and the story has been told that you have to sacrifice happiness for success. And I just refuse to believe that. Refuse to believe that now. I know I'm no longer available for that story. So if you're seeing this, also a corporate millennial, just know that if you could work 100 hours or if you could work 10 hours and get the same amount done, don't push yourself and take your damn PTO.
You know what really sucks and blows about working in this country is the fact that you could be a parent with a sick child and that means nothing to your employers. Like, that means nothing to your employers. Mind you, no particular hate to my actual branch manager, because he is exquisite. That man understands because he has kids, so he gets it. Whenever I have to leave work in the middle of the working day because I have a baby at daycare with 102 fever, he gets it. But the people above him, I'm getting written up. I'm getting written up, and I am getting occurrences because I have had to leave work multiple times in the year to pick up my sick baby with 102 fevers because, you know, because me being at work is more important than me taking care of my sick child. This is what it's like working in America. This is what it's like working here. I work for a bank who gives me occurrences because I have to leave to go be a mother to my sick child, my sick 10-month-old baby girl. That's where we live. That's where we live here in America. This is what's happening. I have to tell you, I'm so grateful for my branch manager because that man really does care. And every time I have to walk into his office with a mopey face, upset about the fact that I have to either call off or leave early, he looks at me and he's like, listen, go take care of your baby girl. Go take care of your baby girl. That's his reply. God bless him. But he's only one person and he's also employed with the company. So it's not like he can avoid me getting occurrences because it's not him who gives me the occurrences. So it's like, oh my God, I'm about to get fired, y'all. I am about to get fired. I'm about to get fired from my job because I have to continuously leave work to take care of my sick kids when they get sick. It's winter time. 'Tis the season. Cold, flu, COVID, everything is happening right now. But don't you dare call off if your kids are sick because you'll get fired. You'll get fired. And we'll hire somebody else whose kids won't get sick because, you know, yeah. Oh my God. Pray for me, y'all. Because if I get fired, I'm gonna have to some way somehow make it in social media because pray for me, and pray for my sick baby. Thank you.
One of a parent's worst nightmares is a sick child while they are working. Employers should be more understanding about each parent's case and just allow parents to actually be parents. They are parents first, and then they are your employees. They have to care for their children and make sure that their kids are good. And if they have to actually get the work done, they can actually complete it at home or stay later that day in the office to complete their work. But please allow them to go and see their children. It's the right thing to do, man.
I'm going to speak on behalf of all parents, whether you're working or you're not. Wouldn't it be nice if the school system decided that they were going to give us all of the dates of the events of the year at the beginning of the year? Like in August, we know what's happening in June. We know when field day is and the rain date. And I know it may not be perfect for you, right? It may not be the ideal date, but give us the date. It's like you're holding on to these little secrets. And like, as a working parent, like if I just knew in advance, I could just take the day off. But instead, my kids are coming home sad that mom or dad isn't at their recorder concert for them because we didn't know until the week before. And even the parents that don't work, they have schedules, they have other kids, they have shit to do. They have parents to take care of. They have all the things. Like, just give us the dates. Honestly, why do you hold these so close to your heart and you don't want to tell us? It's like art show, book fair, recorder show, music show, Christmas show, centers, and guest readers. I could do it, most of it, if you just gave me the dates.
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And let's continue the video.
So I was just dropping my son off for school, and yes, this is how I drop him off because I am a maniac. And I realized something about working parents that kind of hit me hard, and I think this is the biggest thing that I didn't realize, you know, in being a working parent, is that the time that we spend with our kids is primarily logistics. So getting them up in the morning, getting them ready for school, fed, all of that, which is like a marathon in itself. And by the time they're off to school, you're immediately at work. Then you pick them up as soon as you get off of work for most people, unless you work like opposite hours or whatever it is. But the 9 to 5, you typically pick them up after work. And then you do dinner, bedtime routine, and they're in bed. And so there's not a lot of quality time that you spend. It's just like, you have to do this, please do this. And so there's a lot of no's that we say. There's a lot of please do this. There's come on, just do this. And there's that stupid thing going around about like, hurried parents cause anxious children. No, like kids are going to be anxious. I don't believe that hurried parents cause anxiety. I have anxiety, and my mom, I don't know if she was a hurried parent. Anxiety is a mental health disorder. And sure, being rushed around isn't great. I would say probably stressed out parents cause anxious kids, but we're all stressed out because we're living in dual income households where we have no time, we have no fun, we have no ability to be present with our kids other than to be like, you need to do this, brush your teeth, eat your breakfast, eat your dinner, eat your vegetables. And it takes kind of all the joy out of it. And so over the last few weeks, what I've been learning is, I've kind of taken the logistics over from my husband. And so he gets to be more present with our son. And I do get more time with him. And I get to rest during the week. And so then on the weekends, and by rest, I mean not be in Zoom meetings all day, and stressed out about office politics. And so then when it's the weekend time, I can actually be present instead of completely drained from like running around and being a maniac, all week. And so, yeah, I think the logistics part is something people don't talk about enough, is like, you got to figure out what they're going to have for lunch and snack and all these things. And there's not a lot of time to just be present and joyful and like go out and literally smell the flowers or take, a quick bike ride or go on a hike. And that is something that I think we should be talking about more. And I don't know, has anybody else figured out a way to get around this? Like, how do you, as a working parent, not just do logistics? I know everyone says outsource, but like you cannot outsource getting ready for school. You can't outsource dinner and, getting ready for bed. Like, I'm not going to outsource. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense unless you have like an au pair, but still, that's still like your only time you're seeing with your child. So you're getting an hour in the morning and 4 hours at night, 3 hours at night. If you're lucky. Some parents, I've heard, their kids go to bed at 7:30, so they get like an hour with their kid in the morning and an hour with their kid at night. And so there's just not a lot of time that we have to spend with our kids that are like doing things like crafting or coloring or playing blocks. And this is something I think that I've noticed more with a toddler, because with a baby, it's a little different, right? You're just in survivor mode. So this is for toddler parents, elementary parents. How do you handle it being a working parent and not just doing logistics? Like, how do you manage this so that you're also getting to have fun? And I know like there's fun and there's joy that can be found in every single moment, but like, I don't like getting my kid out in the morning. I don't like doing any of this stuff. I don't know anyone who does. It's just stuff that you have to do. So yeah, that's my rant of the morning.
So lately I've been doing a couple late shifts a week where I don't get home till almost 7 o'clock. So that means my husband does daycare pickup, dinner, bath, bedtime routine. But because he gets home at 2:30, he has a 2-hour window all by himself before he picks up the kids. So while of course he can spend some of that time sitting down, relaxing, doing whatever he wants, the only thing I ask of is that the kitchen's tidy. There's no dishes, the playroom's somewhat tidied up, that I'm not coming home at almost 7 having to still do dishes, tidy up, and I'm not spending time with my kids. What is so good is that I don't have to ask my husband to do this. I get home, 6:45, kitchen sparkling clean. There's no toys on the floor. Even their rooms were tidied, vacuumed. Work can sometimes be a bit stressful, so I don't want to leave a stressful environment to then come home to a messy, stressful environment too. Do you know what this means? It means we don't argue. Come home, I'm happy. That means that after we put the kids to bed, we don't have to worry about the housework. We can do whatever we want. Like, he's on games now and I don't care because he's taking care of things like he should. And it definitely goes both ways. If I was the person finishing early and he finished late and I had that time where I didn't have the kids, I would be making sure everything is tidy and clean so that when he comes home, he can actually relax. Regardless of who works more, who works less, or who's with the kids more, house duties, chores has always been a combined effort that's completely separate from parenting. Like, it's a different job altogether.
Guys, this is why it is so important to choose a good partner. She chose a good partner. He is accountable, he is hardworking and responsible, and helps out too. They both work as a team and come together and make each of their lives easier. That is how it's supposed to be.
Okay, so I have a hot take, and I'm not trying to rage bait or anything, but being a stay-at-home mom is so much easier than being a working mom. And I know it's only been 2 weeks, and officially today is my 2-week anniversary of quitting my job. But you guys, it's so much easier. I'm dealing with the same stuff that I was dealing with, minus the work part. I'm not juggling emails. I'm not juggling, deadlines with, no sitters or unavailable sitters or sick kiddos. It hasn't been a breeze. I'm not saying it hasn't been hard, because, people get really offended when you say that stay-at-home moms don't work hard. I don't actually think anybody ever says that, but we get offended by that, apparently. I'm not offended. I don't think you would ever say that I'm not working hard, but when I hear people say, it's just as hard as being a working parent, no, it's not. You get to focus on your family. You get to fully zero in on everything about your family, and it's such a gift for those that get to do it. And I don't know, I think I just get annoyed by moms getting to complain about this, because I truly feel so grateful and undeserving of this. And I know there's so many moms that wish they could, but they can't make it work. But also, I do encourage you to try to make it work, because I think there's a lot of things that we could sacrifice to make it work if it's on your heart. For the moms that don't want to do this, don't. It's not good for your family. If you don't want to stay at home with your kids 24/7, don't. But if you do, and you don't think it can work, try, is all I'm saying. Because if it's on your heart, there's a reason why it's on your heart. And if it's not, there's a reason why it's not. But yeah, not to make anybody mad, I don't know, I want to encourage those that might be scared to do it. Because I came from a company that I really liked working for. I really enjoyed what I did. I enjoyed the people that I worked with, but there's nothing like getting to wake up in the morning with my boys and not having to rush out the door, unless it's like to the library for story time, which my 3-year-old did not like. That's another story for another day. But I don't know, I was scared to do this for a very long time, because I just didn't think I could do it. And it's only been 2 weeks, but I have no regrets so far.
If you work with someone with a toddler, please be nice. We wake up to a crying baby. Then we have to get them ready. We have to get ourselves ready. We have to make sure that they eat. We have to drop them off at daycare or a family member's house, all before we rush to make it to work on time. Them to have to deal with your attitude at work, like, is diabolical. So please be patient and be kind to your coworkers with toddlers.
If you are a working mom, hats off to you, because I'm a stay-at-home mom and my job is hard, don't get me wrong, but I literally cannot fathom the idea of working full-time or even part-time, and you have all of your chores to get done after work. Be present with your family, make dinner, unless you have like a maid or a chef, but I highly doubt like a lot of people have that. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. Like, you are another breed of humans, and I applaud you, because that shit sounds hard.
A friend of mine just sent me a video about working moms, working parents, and how being a working parent is normalized, but it's not normal. And that just fucking hit me today. And I feel that every freaking day. I don't understand how we are expected to work on for 8 hours of the day and then come home and still have emotional and mental and physical energy to pour into our children. We are supposed to be breaking cycles. We are breaking cycles, but we're depleting ourselves. I feel like a shell of a person a lot of days, because I give all my energy and all my focus to work, and then whatever I have left over, I give it to my kids. My husband gets put on the back burner, I get put on the back burner, and if I'm being really honest, I'm getting really sick of hearing like, that's just the stage of life that you're in, or that's just where things are at right now. It's not going to change, because even when my kids go to school, I'm still only going to have 3 hours after work with them, because they're still going to have to go to bed by 8:30, at least when they're little. And then you've got to keep the house up, and then you've got to make sure you've got food on the table, and then you've got to balance the budget, which is like possible these days. Being a working parent is so fucking hard. And I don't have any solutions or answers, because I don't think there are any. All I have is empathy and love, and And I don't just mean this for working moms. This is for dads too, because I know my husband feels the same way. He's an engaged and involved dad, and he is present with our kids. But it never feels like enough. So I guess all I can do is just hold my babies a little tighter, prioritize quality over quantity of the time that we get together. But just know that you're not alone if you're feeling that today, because fuck, it's like a fucking gut punch. I'm not gonna tell you to stay strong. I'm gonna tell you to ask for help. Please ask for help if you need it. If you have any time left over after the kids go to bed, do something for yourself today. Even if it's just taking a bath, putting on some lotion that smells good, petting your dog a little bit more, something that makes you happy.
If you are a working parent, please try to make a little bit of time for yourself, even if it's 15 minutes in a day. 100% just for you. You have to find time to sort of cope with everything and to have time for yourself as well, to do what you want to do. It can feel very overwhelming when you actually have to just always be on the go, and it can be very stressful as well. So just at the end of each night, try to calm your nervous system down, try to relax a little bit.
What I don't think people with kids understand is that we're not mad that you're leaving 30 minutes early every day to pick up your kid. We're mad that when we ask to take 30 minutes off early to go get our car inspected or to take our cat or our dog to the vet, we are told no. That is the crux of the issue. We're not mad that you need to take off to pick your kid up from school or take your kid to a doctor's appointment, or that you need to take off sick because your kid is sick. We're mad that when we are in similar situations, but it doesn't involve human children, we are not awarded the same courtesies. That is where the irritation arises from. I have tried to ask, throughout the years so many times, can I come in late? Can I leave early? Because I need to take my cat to the vet and get vaccines or surgery or etc. And I'm told, no, schedule it on your own time. I've had coworkers who care for elderly family members ask, can I please leave early so I can go meet them at their assisted care facilities? No. So then it gets very frustrated when a parent says, I'm going to leave early every single day to pick up my kid from school, and the answer is automatically yes. We're not mad at you, we're frustrated at the situation.
Here's another working mom rant. I always see the silent battle on here about, is it harder to be a stay-at-home mom or is it harder to be a working mom? And honestly, being a mom is hard no matter what. It's just hard. That's that. But I do think that more working moms would rather trade places with stay-at-home moms than stay-at-home moms would want to trade places with working moms. I'm genuinely just curious, would you trade places if you're a stay-at-home mom or a working mom? I don't know. It's just a thought that I've been having. And like I said, no matter what, being mom is hard.
Just can't understand how parents parent during school holidays. Say there's two parents working full-time. How do you? If you can't afford daycare because it's so expensive and you don't want to hand your children over to someone to be with them for 8-9 hours a day that isn't school, what do? Do you ask your friends and family members to, and grandparents to look after them? Because that is a lot of time, effort and energy on their part. You must cook them a lot of lasagnas. So for the parents that don't want to owe their friends and family members favors and lasagnas, do you have to negotiate with your employers to work more during term time, school time, so you can have time off during their school holidays? How does it work? Do you have to purchase additional leave? Do you have to owe your boss favors for letting you go home early and pick up your kids? Hats off to you either way.
So my job just asked me to fill out this survey, and one of the survey questions was, what is one thing you love about being a working parent? And I thought about it, and I'm like, maybe someone's gonna answer saying, they like having the ability to disconnect, or working on their projects, being creative. But no. For me, it's the fact that I bring home money for my family. And in any type of questions, people always ask, rank what's most important to you, working here? Money. Money is always the answer for me. If I did not need money, I would not be a working parent. But we need money. So yes, that's my answer. What do I love about being a working parent is I can bring money to my family. But I don't love being a working parent.
So someone messaged me on TikTok and asked me, why do I work when I have 6 kids at home? So let's talk about it. So just to give some context, when I had my oldest child, my grandparents retired so I wouldn't have to pay for childcare. I've never paid for childcare a day in my life. So I started working when I was 15 and I stopped working when I was like 33, I think, is when my husband retired me and I was able to quit my job. After that, we had our 3 babies who are currently 7, 5, and 3. We were in Buffalo, New York. He had a restaurant and we decided to move to Las Vegas. So when we moved to Las Vegas, we were here for a couple months, and then my grandmother and my aunt, they came out to Vegas because they missed the kids so much. So they were staying in our guest room. So while they were here, I was like, maybe I want to like apply for a job. And I applied for a job and I got it. And I ended up moving up and making 6 figures. But unfortunately, my grandma had to go back home to Buffalo because she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And in Buffalo, we have Roswell Cancer Institute. And we felt as though that would be the best place for her. Her last treatment is actually coming up in July. And she is about to be 88. And she is like kicking cancer's ass. So even though my grandma and my auntie went back to Buffalo, I kept my job. So we had to make some family changes and some sacrifices in order for me to do that. But I feel that just because my husband can take care of everything, why should he have to do it on his own? I don't do anything on my own, so why should he? I'm fully capable of working. Yes, it's 6 figures now. 6 figures is very different when you have a family of 8. But we are in the process of looking for our forever home, which my husband wants, not for himself, not for his ego, not for social media. And I say that because there was a couple on here that was renting a $45,000 house, you know, so they can make money on social media, which is good for you. And I get you have to like spend money to make money, but he wants a house with like a larger yard, pool, trampoline, you know, bar setup, and a casita for my mom, my grandma, my auntie, and mother-in-law. So when they come to Vegas, they can have like their own space, because my mom wants to buy a house out here and my husband doesn't want her to. He doesn't want her to have a mortgage while she is retired. So that's what we're working on. And he wants a place where, because we're the safe house for our kids' friends, they can come and have a nice entertainment space and be safe, and there's enough room for everybody to kind of move around. We currently have a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom house, but the yard is like, and the kitchen is really small. So by me working, I'm able to help facilitate that at a faster pace while my husband is building his new businesses and restaurants in Las Vegas where we don't know anyone. So that is why I work, even though I have 6 kids at home.
You don't know the full story, so stop assuming things about people. If you do know the full story, then your specific comments can be more informed and align with another person's situation.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.